I'm Mason Souza, and I'm doing a review on Ethan Geller's presentation about shamans and shamanic healing. So I think he did a really good job just outlining the overall job of a shaman, especially in different cultures that don't use ethnomedical practices of healings and things like that, especially in different like Latin countries that rely on shaman healings. So just overall, he went very, very fast, just very quick through it, just kind of hit the main points and reference them. So that could be a good or a bad thing. He just went super fast, and it was really hard for me just to kind of write down notes about the presentation, just everything like that. But besides that, I think he did a great job of just kind of doing it. The one nitpicky thing that I'm gonna write about, obviously, is just about like the key terms. It's like he didn't really define them. He just kind of like it was kind of just like copy paste them from the textbook, and was just like, here's the key terms, without really giving much influence to them or any meanings behind them. So yeah, and then he kind of just went over like again just main points about the like traditional practices that they use. Like shamans are indigenous people that use their different health practices, and then how they can actually be helpful for even people in a society like us because they help with your immune system function, your relief from symptomatic illnesses, and overall your enhanced well-being, as he said, through serotonin, which is just kind of like your brain chemical that releases in order for you to be happy. And then, yeah, as I said, just activation of neural pathways and serotonin pathways. And then physiological processes. He said there was an induction of altered status of consciousness, which is another key term, which is just kind of like sensory deprivation, where he didn't know what that was. It's kind of just like I had to look it up. So it's just like if you like blind yourself or you're wearing earmuffs, and obviously like most of the time sensory deprivation does with all of it. So it's kind of just like how your body reacts without its five senses. And then talked about associated treatments using like music, ritual songs, and rhythmic drumming to understand shamans and their practices. And then they also use like symbolic objects like crosses and like sages and other things like that. And then so just some examples he said were like specific shamans in Peru, and they use drugs like Hivav and Yanomamo. Yeah. And then he just kind of went over like the why and the connection, which is honestly nice because I didn't really have to think much about it. It was just kind of like right there about just the connection to our course. But obviously it wasn't really that hard with shamans because shamans aren't really a societal thing in like health practices. So I can understand why it's a multicultural approach to health, and it's not really this Western idea. So overall, just the why, just to kind of summarize it real quick, is just to illustrate the role of these traditional healers against our ethnocentric models, and the connection is just so spiritual, physiological, and community-based healers rather than medical approach that we have. But overall, they did a great job. Just wish it just slowed down a little bit more and gave a little bit more explanation to some of the words so that I could have fit it better in my mind, just kind of like how the textbook did. Besides that, it was a great job.